I got to kick this thing off. Can I kick it off? 1, 2, 3, 4. Ladies and gentlemen, listen.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Man Listen Show. I'm your host, Arika. Don't forget to follow us on YouTube and social media. And when you follow us on YouTube, don't forget to hit the bell icon and subscribe and follow the show. I'm your host, Arika. Let's bring the crew in.
What's happening? We got a new host.
No, temporary host.
What's up? How y'all doing?
Good. So the reason why we have a temporary host today is because we are going to be interviewing Marv about his upcoming event. So why don't we start by you explaining what the upcoming event is and when it is?
Yeah, so I am hosting the first annual. I know people hate when you say first annual. You know, I like antagonizing educated Negroes, like
inaugural.
I always say Happy New Year's, or I do it on purpose just to make people happy. Or I say Filet Mignon, or when we used to go to Target, I would say Target. But anyway,
Yes.
so I'm hosting the inaugural Active Black Dad Leadership Conference in my hometown of Topeka, Kansas. It'll be on June 27th, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Hillcrest Community Center. So we have several speakers that will be coming out to bring value to those who attend. And most importantly, it is absolutely free. So we're just asking for people to register. And it's going to be in Topeka, Kansas. My hometown, probably about 60 miles outside of Kansas City. So anybody in the Kansas area, Topeka, Lawrence, Wichita, Salina, KCK, Johnson County, you know, even from Kansas City, Missouri, drive on down. You know, we need all Black men to come out so we can fellowship and talk about how we could be there in a better way for our community.
And this is associated with your book in what way?
Not really associated with the book. I think, you know, my book talks about fatherhood, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my book was called Mythbusters, Lessons from Active Black Fathers. And from that, I just created the social media tag Active Black Dad, because my book talked about how Black men get a bad rap for being, non-participatory, when we actually are the demographic that participates the most in our child's lives, despite whatever roadblocks, the system puts in front of us. So this is somewhat of a spinoff from that. I've done a lot of different things, hosted events, movie premieres, just did a lot of things around the country. And I've never done anything from my hometown. And, there's a lot of reasons for that. It gets complicated, but if you know Topeka, Topeka's a complicated place. So this is my first time doing something in my hometown. I'm hoping that the people come out and support it.
Okay. So the book, was that the inspiration for the event, or was there something else that inspired it?
Man, honestly, when I was younger, so let me tell you about Topeka. Topeka, Kansas, it's the capital of Kansas. There is a strong history there. If you know anything about American history, Black history, Brown versus Board of Education, that started in Topeka, Kansas. It was against the Topeka Board of Education. Some of the students that were in those classes that were, fighting to be integrated were my family members. The Brown family, their grandson was my best friend in elementary school. So Linda Brown, the young lady that was the face of the movement, she was a grown woman when I was coming around. And I just tell people all the time, yeah, I got whooped by a civil rights icon. She used to have a yardstick. If we messed up, she would pop us with it or whatever. But sweet lady, but her sister was the one that really took the mantle and led the movement. So I've always been around people who have tried to move the ball forward for the Black community. I got to give a shout out to my uncle, Robert Bugg. I call him Uncle Sonny. He started the first and the oldest MLK celebration in the country. It's called Living the Dream. My cousin Anton Bug, he runs it now because his mother and his father, my Aunt Jackie, had passed away. But there's a lot of history in Topeka, a lot of that spirit of, we all we got in Topeka. But Topeka also was just like any other Midwest city that had its problems, like in the late 80s, crack came and devastated Topeka. Gang violence came and devastated Topeka. So it went from a place where, you have people who are fighting to improve the condition of Black people to a place where, and I'll just say for myself, a place where hope kind of became scarce. And whenever you got crack, have y'all seen how crack can wipe out a community? I won't say that it necessarily wiped out Topeka, but it definitely had a devastating impact on my hometown. And then when you throw in the gang violence, I've lost family members. My nephew was murdered in the streets in Topeka. So, I feel it's incumbent upon me to come back and to try to get back to, the place where I grew up.
Okay. So is that the goal of the event, to give back to the community?
Yeah, I mean, I think we get back by, organizing Black men. One thing, I live in Dallas, man. I haven't lived in Topeka. What, I got to Mizzou, where we all met in 95, then graduated in 2000. Yeah, I was on the 5-year plan. I went back for like 2 weeks and was staying in my mom's house, and I said, nah, this ain't it. And then I moved to Kansas City, and then, the rest was history from there. Um, so I really don't want people to think that I'm coming back as the person to tell everybody, hey, this is how y'all supposed to do it, right? It's
Mhm.
really, the goal is to give back to Black men and to figure out a way for us to corroborate, because there's people there that are doing wonderful things. A lot of them will be on the panels that we have at the conference. So it would be asinine for me to come in and say, "Hey, listen, y'all not doing it right. Here's what you should do." If the roles were reversed, I wouldn't want to listen to somebody that was doing that. But the goal is to try to uplift, like we say, what do we say on the intro for the Man Listen Show? Enlighten, enrich, and empower. That's what I
Mhm.
want to do for my community. So that's why we're doing this.
Okay.
That's yeah, that's something though. Let me chime in for a second. I think that's something that, like you said, not just Topeka. I think that's something that's needed in a lot of different communities, and it might not necessarily be, like you said, to tell them you're doing this wrong, but it also can be a way of encouraging those who are already active that, hey, we do have other people who see us and they see us making this impact and they want to acknowledge that, and that's a huge part of it as well, because as an active Black father, um it can get overwhelming sometimes and you feel unappreciated. You might feel unappreciated
For
and
sure.
people don't acknowledge that you're doing the work. And
Mhm.
so this is a perfect opportunity to also pour back into it. You just a word of encouragement. You never know who it might help them get over whatever hump or whatever they're going through.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what really inspired me on this is the keynote speaker. We were doing a fireside chat with Curtis Pitts. Now, Curtis Pitts, come from Florida, worked with Coretta Scott King, and he came to Topeka, and he's always been involved in the community. I mean, he was, active in running the community center in the heart of East Topeka. And you know how most cities are broken down. One side of the town, that were segregation, they ended up being the Black side of town. Where Curtis, he used to run Eastline, which was a community center, and it was straight Black, right? And I had him on, my other show, Conversate with Us, just to talk about his history in Topeka. And he mentioned how, so you had Eastline, which was a community center, and so they would have different programs during the summer. And I'm gonna tell you, if you was hanging out at Eastline, you had to be tough because you was going to be tried, right? It's just part of living in the neighborhood. And then you had the boys club. I don't know if y'all know anything about boys clubs, right? But the boys club, you definitely got to be on your square because you're gonna get
Yeah.
tried at the boys club. So it was
Mhm.
Curtis at Eastline, and it was Coach Woody at the boys club. And just like any other city, sometimes the resources were scarce. And Curtis told me how sometimes they wouldn't have enough food to feed the kids that were there. So Coach Woody would say, "Hey, listen, I got extras over here. You come and get some," and vice versa. And that's how they would work. And together, even though they were running two separate movements, they still worked together to make sure that everybody was taken care of. So it's that spirit, it's that experience and that commitment to the community I want to
Mhm.
try to bring because not everybody knows that story. Not everybody
Right.
knows that story. So I want the brothers that are in Topeka who are already doing stuff to know, hey, listen, you may not even know what this brother is doing across town, right? And it's not a competition. There's
Mhm.
different ways for us to attack how we're going to improve our community. And hopefully through this conference, we can do that.
Okay. What other panelists do you plan on having at the event?
So man, so we're definitely attacking Black men's mental health.
Mm.
June is Black men's mental health awareness. I just found that out today, right? I was listening to Sway in the morning, and they were just talking about how, brothers are having a hard time. And what inspired me was because obviously I've been planning this much longer, right? Um, when Justin Fairfax and how he, murdered his wife and then took his own life. And the emphasis was on, Black men's mental health. And, we kind of skipped over domestic violence and how it impacts our sisters. And so I have John Hyman, I have Reggie Jackson, two dynamic leaders in mental health coming through. And we're going to talk about just that. We're going to talk about our mental health. We're going to talk about how we grieve things. We're going to talk about conflict resolution. We're going to talk about domestic violence, anger management, all of those things. So it's through that I hope that I'm able to reach. If I could just reach one or two people to make it to where they are a better man to their family and they can set an example for other people, then I've done my job. So we have them coming in. So I got Bree Markham and Tony Green. They're from the Topeka Doula Project. Now you would ask, like, why would a doula be at a Black dad? And let me emphasize, you do not have to be a father to be at the
Okay.
conference. You just have to be a Black man. Because just like in my book, where I talked about how you don't have to be a biological dad or to be an active Black father, you could be an uncle, cousin, coach, teacher, mentor, whatever, right? But we have Bree and we have Tony coming in because they, under the Topeka Doula Project, have started something called Dad's Den, where the fathers that are going to get services on how to be better dads and how to better support the mothers of their children. So they'll be coming in as well to talk to the men that are at the conference. And again, we have Curtis Pitts. Curtis Pitts, longtime community activist. He'll be in the place to be just to talk about how we can better serve the community.
Okay. I was going to ask you who your target audience is, but so Black men in the community.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy though is we've actually had some sisters express interest in coming, and I hate that y'all put me in this position, but we're gonna ask y'all to sit this one out.
Hmm.
The support we need from our sisters is to send the Black men that they know.
Hmm.
Send your nephews, send your sons, send your husband, send your dad, send whoever, send them on, encourage them to come and soak up some of this good knowledge. But I think it's important. Number one, it's the Active Black Dad
Hmm.
Leadership Conference. It's not Active Black Parent Leadership Conference. And I just feel that men act differently when they're just surrounded by other men. And we need this to be a place where men can speak open and honestly and can be 100% vulnerable, because we're going to talk about some heavy stuff. And I just don't think that is going to happen when we have men and women in the crowd. Now, with the interest that we sparked from this, obviously I found out, hey, listen, there's a bigger movement there because I always say we're much stronger when we're together. But I also feel like we're much stronger when our men are healthy and coming from a place where they really can step up and lead the community. And again, I'm not saying people are not doing that right now, but in order for us to corroborate and be stronger together, I think something like this needs to happen.
So I was going to ask you to talk about that. Why do you think it's so important to not just create a space like this for men, but for Black men in particular?
I mean, look at the state of our community right now. I mean, we're under attack. We are absolutely under attack in all facets. And I think that it's incumbent upon us as men to lead. Listen, I'm a man's man. And, sometimes that's not received well. I can be harsh at times, but, with the way I was raised, the way I was, taught coming up, I never doubted for 1 second that I was loved by the men that were in my life. But they didn't play no games with me. And that came from my dad to my uncles, men in my church, coaches. And I think that I'm a much better man because they had such high expectations. They set a high standard for me. And I realize that not everybody receives that. So sometimes you have to change your approach. But I think that we really need to get our brothers on one accord so that we can level up and do more for our community. I'm not going to say we're not doing anything, but do more for our community.
I think that that's important, of course, because like you said, there's more vulnerability when the spaces are protected. And so we have to make sure that we're keeping those safe spaces protected so that people can actually benefit from the information that's going to be going around there, because sometimes we can get a little back and forth and then that takes away from what we're really trying to do. But so like,
and just think about it too. Let's keep it real. Because I asked some folks, I said, why would women want to show up to a conference that clearly says active Black dad? And you know what a lot of the women said?
Because I'm the dad.
No, no, no. I was on I was on a personal mission to end that nonsense. Remember on Father's Day, people would be like, "Say Happy Father's Day to me because I'm the man, I'm the dad and the mom."
Yeah.
Like, man, shut up. No, you're not. You're the mom. Okay. But so most of the responses were they just trying to be nosy. Tell them no. That's what women was telling me. They just trying to be nosy. Tell them no. Several of them said that. Just say no. No, it's for men. And then some of the other women say that, hey, we want to attend because we want to see the men there so we can check out and see what men is there. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, no, this
happy
ain't no
hour.
No,
they can come to happy hour afterwards.
This is
happy
not
hour on the end. At the happy hour,
you say this ain't that. Yeah, you can have a little happy hour, and the ladies are welcome to the meet and greets at the end of the day.
We're not having day party. We're not having a happy hour, but maybe again we'll have another event where everybody can come, and if you want to try to find your boo thing, then you can do that. But this ain't the place.
This ain't that. Well, I think that for me, because I've never been to a panel or anything like that, so I was thinking more along the lines of moms trying to bring their sons or teenage boys. That's what I was thinking of it as. So not necessarily to be nosy, but like if I have a child that hasn't had a strong male role model in his life, and I'm like, he might benefit from this. It's like that series Dennis was doing about teaching kids how to do like car maintenance, oil changes and things like that. Like I didn't have to do things like that because I had brothers, but then it's like, what if you don't have those resources? So I was thinking of it more or less as in how to connect single moms or male children that don't have those active role models to other men who are actively stepping up in those roles.
My response to that would be this, and laugh way in. So my dad was much older. My dad was like 43 when I was born, and he he worked hard and he played hard. So the examples he set, were there, but I needed other people to fill in the gaps in different places, right? And my mom made sure to find those places. But you know what she did when she found those places? Go in there, ask them what time I need to pick you up. Because I trust the men that are there And I wouldn't be dropping you off somewhere where you would be put in jeopardy or in harm or whatever, right? We ain't leaving you around no perverts or anything like that. But yeah, you need to learn about being a man from men, and I don't need to be there holding your hand. It's just like in football, you know, pee wee football. Most of the moms, when they watch and practice, the moms that get it, in my opinion, they don't say nothing when the coaches get on their boys because they know they need that structure. They need that redirection from a man. They need to hear a man's voice, right? And the sisters that I've seen who have had a problem with it, the other women who get it, they say, "Girl, if you don't leave that boy there and go sit in the car and let the men handle it." Now, there's times where you think obviously
Yeah.
there's crazy people, right? But that would be my response to that. If you got somebody young, drop them off with us. We ain't gonna let them back. We gonna feed them, and then we're gonna send them back to you.
So is
That,
there an
that
age limit?
that's just about to say. That leads into another question: is there a age range that you're targeting that you would prefer?
I think that high school would be the limit. I don't think junior high or elementary would really benefit from some of the topics that we're talking about. I think and I'm shooting for like 16 and up. We'll probably take some 15-year-olds, but if you're in high school, there's something that you can come and you can glean from the information that's gathered. Because when you start getting too young, the topics might be too heavy for
Yeah.
them, and then when it's too young, they're not really even looking at it as this is something I can learn. This is something that my
Mhm.
dad and my grandfathers are talking about, and
Right.
kids automatically block that out.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
we would say high school and up.
And that's the age really that your mom doesn't need to be there anyway. So, once you get about 16, yeah, drop them off with the elders in the community and let them deal with the young fellas.
I mean, I
Yeah.
remember, I remember, I was probably like, I don't know, man, because we came up in different times, right? We could just ride our bikes all across town,
Yeah.
and then as long as you come home when you're supposed to come home, that was it, right? But I remember getting dropped up at the barbershop, Styles on the east side of Topeka, and you learn a lot about manhood at the
Yeah.
barbershop. You learn about what a good man looks like. You learn what a not so good man looks like at the barbershop because they all there. Because the one thing about growing up in a small town, Topeka, like at the time when I was coming up, may have been 120,000, 150. I'm gonna say it's probably close to 120,000. So it's not a big city at all, right? Um, so there isn't that separation like when you go to a big city. So you may have like here in Dallas, may have like a DeSoto or whatever where black men, I don't have that way of saying this, who may be more educated, career focused or whatever, they may go to a certain type of barbershop, certain place to hang out or whatever. Whereas people who aren't of that ilk are going somewhere else. In Topeka, when you got such a small town, everybody black goes to the same place. So you're going to see that mixture and that those different dynamics when it comes to black masculinity, and you learn from them all. Like I moved to Houston because I remember growing up in Topeka, and we used to say going to Kansas City was like a major thing. We'd be like, "Oh, I'm going to the city today." That's how small our mindset was, right? And
Mhm.
then there was one dude who was like, "Man, I like going to Kansas City is like a major deal." And him just saying that made it seem like,
Mhm.
damn, I guess he's right. you know,
Yeah.
and once you grow up and you go to college, or whatever, you realize like, dude, there's so much more to see than just going to Kansas City, right? And I
Mhm.
remember there was an old man there, and I don't know his name. I couldn't even remember him, but I remember him sitting there saying, "Man, shit, y'all need to move to Houston. Houston, man, you can make money, and they got all kind of women, and they making money, and they don't need y'all. That's where y'all need to be." And years later, it's just funny how like you drop a seed and you don't know where it's gonna plant,
Mhm.
right? Years later, where did I go? I moved to Houston, and he was absolutely right.
He said he did not steer me wrong.
He did not steer
At
me
all.
wrong. Yeah.
At all. Yeah.
That's funny. So you talked about the ladies being interested in the event. How do you anticipate or hope that this event will grow in the future to maybe include some family events as opposed to just active Black dads?
Well, man, it's my hope that obviously, we're saying this is the inaugural event.
Mhm.
Definitely want to do it every year. I also want to do it in other cities as well. I started in Topeka because Topeka's smaller. I know the infrastructure, I know the people. So that's why we're starting there. But it's my hope that this can become a national thing. And we can do it in one particular city, and that's the city that would be in. It might be Dallas, maybe it may be somewhere else, but that's the hope that where we grow from there. And then if there's some opportunities to spin that off to focus on family events and get our sisters involved, I'm not opposed to that, but I would say that that's not really my wheelhouse. I know about fatherhood. I know about holding men accountable, and
Mhm.
that's really what I do. So I probably just stay with that.
That makes sense. I was thinking when you were talking about the different podcasts and things that you do, I know you work with Dr. Tori, and so I didn't know if maybe there had been some type of discussion on maybe having a counterpart, whereas there's one for, the men, but there's also something in the works for women.
Well, Dr. Tori got her own event, the ACES conference that she's already done it for 2 years. So she's tried and true when it comes to this, and hers is global. She's
Mhm.
international. She has people coming in from the UK, from everywhere to come in and go to her conference to talk about, adverse childhood experiences. So she's already doing something. So I help her when I can. But yeah, it could be, hey, Rika, it could be you.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
want
why
me
not?
to help people with their mental health.
Hey, listen, I'm not a mental health expert.
Exactly.
I knew how to find the people who were.
Mm,
Yeah. You don't
yeah.
call yourself doctor either. But anyway.
I
Now,
know
hey,
somebody that knows somebody.
hey, listen,
Nah.
hey, listen. If I could get Cheyenne to come through, hey, come through, Cheyenne. Come through.
So
So
anyway,
somebody sent a message to Dr. Cheyenne Bryant.
yeah,
Yeah.
let us know. Let us know how that works out.
Ixnay, ixnay.
Okay, so thinking about the future, have you thought of any other like potential panelists or people that you are excited about maybe trying to include in this event in the future?
Well, the event right now is only half a day.
Hmm.
Like I said, it's the inaugural event. I definitely would like to, because I think it's a holistic thing, right? You have to address all of the things that plague us as Black men. So yes, we talk about mental health. Yes, we talk about our physical health. Still in the works of trying to get a Black health professional to come through. That may happen, may not, right?
Hmm.
But our mental health, our financial health, because a lot of the frustration and stress that we have, so
Hmm.
a lot of times it comes from money. It comes from the wealth gap that we talked about, right?
Yeah.
Community activism, all of those things we want to talk about at this conference. So, I have people on like my wish list that I would like to come through. But let's get through this first one. I'm sure there'll be some kinks that we gotta iron out or whatever. But after that, we're gonna be making this a big thing.
Okay.
Is there a cost associated for attendance?
Absolutely free.
Wow. Okay.
Absolutely free. So,
Wow. That's no
yeah.
excuse.
Now, if y'all
Now
want to,
you are incurring costs. So I mean,
yeah, now I was gonna
obviously,
say,
yeah.
now if you want to send your boys some coins, I haven't really put it out there to ask people to
Yeah.
support, just because, like I said, this is something that was put on my heart to do, and
Mhm.
Hmm.
the other piece too is, if I were to accept dollars, I want them for right now, to come from people in the community. I want
Hmm.
the community to fund it. Now, going forward, we may get sponsors, right? We may get
Hmm.
people to sponsor, but oftentimes we talk about, on the show, sometimes when people with money comes leverage and influence. And I
Hmm.
want people to know that this is 100% ours. And we're going to talk about things that may make others uncomfortable. People are probably uncomfortable that it's just Black men coming together.
Yeah.
What did we talk
True.
about on the last show? How white folks watch everything that we do, like why
Yeah.
y'all
Hmm.
congregating. I'm sure because the flyers have been out on social media, right? I'm sure, I'm fairly confident that I'm probably on some people's watch list because of this. I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
probably,
Yeah.
because like
Yeah.
they've done it before. They've done it in other situations. Why would they not? Why would I think that I'd be any different?
Yeah.
But
No.
I'm not scared. I'm not scared. We're gonna do what we gotta do.
Are you only going to allow people in that register in advance?
Nah, we're gonna listen. We want you to register in advance so we know how to accommodate everybody. But I'm not in the business of turning people away that want to get knowledge and want a fellowship and do something positive. I mean, as long as we got seats, or if you want to stand, you come on
Mhm.
through. But
Mhm.
definitely, please register. It's
So we can
free. All
prepare.
you got to do, and listen, I don't spam people. I don't spam people. So yeah, you go put your email address down and all that stuff, but it's no hook. I'm not trying to get you to buy anything. It's really about the community.
All right. So, what's your lasting word, or what's the biggest hope that you have that people will take away from this event?
I really hope that people leave this event feeling empowered. I hope that they feel encouraged because I look at my people and I think a lot of us are starting to lose hope, and we got to fight. We don't have we're not in a place where we can just say, you know what, we're not going to do anything and we're just going to take the punches and roll with them and whatever happens, happens. No, we got to organize and we got to fight. And it's my hope that people would leave with that spirit. And when I go back on in my travels and do what I got to do, that they are a force multiplier and that they're doing the things that we talked about on their own. So when we come back, I don't have to go and look for a national speaker. I can just pull somebody straight from the community that can talk about what the community needs. Because you remember when Ferguson popped off and you had all these national people come in try to say, this is what the community needs, this
Mhm.
is what should be done, and that wasn't 100% aligned with what the local activists who were actually there, who knew the conditions, who knew the people, those things weren't aligned. And then we started finding out that a lot of those people that was coming in with those national names, they was bought and paid for.
Yep.
They was bought and paid for, right? They was more than likely, allegedly, sent in to redirect the energy, right, to
Mm.
different places. Whereas the people who were locally there, they knew what to do. And unfortunately, a lot of people that were there locally that was on the front lines, they're not here with us no more. And I don't think that's a coincidence.
Definitely not. Infiltrate and sabotage. That's their MO.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Oh, we gonna march. Okay, I'm leading the march, but we're gonna lead y'all down to Clayton, where all the buildings are brick and y'all are boxed in, and come on now. Listen, yeah.
Yeah. So, anything else you want the people to know?
Not really a question, man. Just a tip of the cap, man. For this is a huge undertaking, man, and it is something that's definitely needed, not only in Topeka but in other places as well. And I hope it's already a success, just even getting to this point. But I hope it branches out, like you said, and is able to be something that's not just an inaugural, but an annual, and then moreover in other cities and everything like that, man. It's huge, man. Huge.
I'm gonna call
Yeah,
it first
definitely.
annual. I don't care what y'all say.
Just petty. No, because I was thinking about that the other day too, because most people know I'm from Illinois. I'm from Eastline, and sometimes when I'm donating and doing things and volunteering, I do it in Missouri because that's where I live. And then sometimes I'm like, I need to be going across that bridge and giving back to my community because it's not, I mean, it's not that I can't give to both communities, but I just want to make sure that I'm including where my roots are in my give back portion of life. But it's so far. But,
I mean, but here's the deal. There, we're all in touch through technology now,
Mhm.
right? I could donate to the church I grew up in and not even attend the service. Or I could watch the service on my laptop, donate, and never walk into the building if I don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you want to support, holler at me. We'll, you can donate. You can donate to. We'll put in the description how you can donate.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think it's important, man. So I'll say this. For the longest, I had a real love-hate relationship with my hometown. I did. Because one thing that white supremacy does is it makes you think that the phrase white supremacy actually is true, that they are, better than us, right? And we all come from the Midwest. And I don't want to piss my people from the South off though, but I'll just say this: in the Midwest, we never, back down from challenges from white supremacy or from white folks, right? But there were some of us who fell victim to that mindset, that crab in the barrel mindset that, some communities have. And it's because of that, man, I had a real love-hate relationship with my hometown. For a while there, I was like, man, I ain't never going back. You ever talk to somebody that's from like a small town, and they be like,
Mm-hmm.
as soon as I turned 16, I got me a bus ticket and I never went back,
Yeah.
right? That ain't my
Yeah.
story, man. I got family members there. I'm back there twice a year to see my people. But that commitment and this sense of obligation that I have right now just wasn't there. So I'm trying to make up for that because the standard that was set by my family, meaning my mother, my father, my aunts and uncles, and people in the community, they all came from Topeka. So this is my chance to honor them and to honor their legacy.
All right. Well, I think we talked about it enough.
I like that. You also missed out on one thing too. I'm gonna see if you do it before the end of the show. Go ahead, wrap it up.
The pressure. I don't know.
So
Shout out to C.
before Rika wraps it up,
Oh my God.
June 27th.
Mm-hmm.
This is Saturday, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. We need you there on time. We need you there on time, Topeka, Kansas, at the Hillcrest Community Center. Hillcrest is on the east side. Now, story. I actually used to work at Hillcrest. I volunteered, I actually made a little bit of money there. Hillcrest was considered one of the, because of Topeka, I don't know about in Eastline or in KC, we had community centers where you can go hoop. They'd have different, softball diamonds or whatever, pools. We could go and swim at the pool. Now, Hillcrest was considered one of the Black community centers. So this is how screwed up Topeka was. On Juneteenth, they would make the pool. It might have been all the pools, but it just seemed like Hillcrest was the one. It would be free to get into the pool, and it was like $1 to get into the pool, but it was free. And if you drove by the pool on Juneteenth, it was probably about 400 Black kids in that damn pool, right? And did I ever tell y'all the story about when me and my cousin decided to walk home?
I don't think
I feel
so.
like you did off show.
Okay,
Like
let me
maybe.
tell it because this is funny. So, Hillcrest was the Black pool, and my pops dropped me and my cousin. Shout out to my cousin Carol. She's like my sister, right? We just 2 years apart. So he drops her at the pool, and he was like, "Well, I don't want them stealing y'all shoes, so I'm gonna take y'all shoes with me. Then I'll just come pick y'all up because they would steal your shit, right?" So pool closed, and pops was late coming back. So we was probably about, I'm gonna say 7'5", 8 and 6, right? And my cousin Carol made the decision. So we know how to walk home. Let's just walk home, right? No shoes,
The
in
80s.
our
Yeah.
in our bathing suits, walking down major roads. It's probably about I'm gonna say 2 miles tops from the pool to our house. But little kids walking, right? And it wasn't sidewalks, right? So we walking through the east side, and we finally show up at the house, and my mom runs out the door. She runs out the door, she hugs us, right? Brings us in the house. We got all kind of glass and splinters in our feet, so she doctors us up, gives us a bath. Come out, had a frozen pizza ready. You know, back then, I mean, we eat frozen pizzas like 4 or 5 times a week, now, but back then, that Tony's frozen pizza was a delicacy, right?
Yeah.
So frozen pizza was out. So we sitting at the table, you dancing while you eating. And next thing you know, we heard, come here. And we looked, and she had that belt. Boy, she wore us out, man, because she was happy to see us because they thought we had got snatched.
Right. Yeah.
They thought we got snatched. And here was something, we walking into the driveway, and I blame Carol because she said, look, I had to make an executive decision. But really, the villain in the story was my dad for not coming on time, right, to pick us up, right? But man, my mama wore us out. And we can look back at it now and kind of laugh about it. But it's just those stories from your hometown that, I still have a sentimental connection to Topeka, and I want to get back. But yeah, that's a funny story. I thought we was good. No.
He's like, man, we got the swim and pizza.
Right.
Best day ever.
Right. It
Until it wasn't.
The best day ever turned into the worst day ever.
Listen, that used to be the worst. When you catch a glimpse of that belt or that switch, you'd be like, oh shit, that's for me.
And look, picking that. And listen, yeah, I know people say corporal punishment is a bad thing, but look, I'm listen. Don't send your kids around me. You can send them to the Active Black Dad Leadership Conference. We ain't gonna whoop them there, right? They too big. They 16. They can fight back.
Right.
And we only whooping on the vulnerable.
Right. At 16, shit, whoopers ain't working at 16.
Ain't working, yeah. No.
When last time you got whooped? At what age did you?
I don't even remember, but it was at a point where for me, it was like when you started being able to have the option to like, okay, you want to take a whooping or you want to lose outside privileges for a week. Give me the whooping because it don't affect me like you said. It really is no deterrent at that point.
Because some kids
5 minutes to hey, whatever.
Because some kids whoopings don't impact them.
Yeah,
you wasting your time.
That was me.
You wasting your time by whooping this kid. It ain't gonna make no difference. You got to like deprive them or something, right?
Yeah.
But I'll probably say the last one I got, and it was a bad one. Probably was like 10 or 11. And y'all know I'm tall, right? My mom was probably like 5'7", 5'8". And I was as tall as her, right? Yeah. So I thought I was tough. And my mama like popped me, and I was like, didn't hurt. Man, why did I say that? Boy, hey, she was fighting me like we was on the streets. And after that, and then I was thinking like, oh, she gonna tell Marvin Sr. when he get home, so I'm about to get another one. Oh, you disrespecting your mama? So after that, it was done. It was a wrap.
My stepdad used to beat the hell out of us. So I was a good double digits by the time I got my last one, I think. But I also ran away to Mizzou at 16. So saved myself.
Yeah, well, with the girls, you can't really like. I was spank my girls, but like when they got to like 9, 10, I wasn't spanking them because I didn't want them thinking that it was cool for a man to be hitting on them. I didn't want them to get used to that. Now that boy of mine, he was getting them hands 17, 18, but yeah. But anyway, I see Rika wants to change the topic. We'll go ahead. Go ahead and wrap it up.
I just didn't want to go dark. We're talking positive.
I know. Go ahead and wrap it up. Let's see if you do it right.
Oh my gosh. We already know I'm not going to do it right now. You put all this pressure on me. I'm over here racking my brain.
You good.
All I could think of was
there is no right or wrong. There's no right or wrong way to wrap it up.
Wrap it up. Yeah.
Not. All right. Thank y'all for joining us today. Don't forget to like or subscribe to our YouTube page. Follow us on social media. What is it? Instagram. That's where I be following my stories. You know, my stories are great. And then Facebook. What's it? Threads. And we're
Yeah.
not on that other one
Threads.
no more. I don't think. Are we? Are we on X?
Nah, we on it. Yeah, we ain't on the X no more.
All right. Yeah. So follow, like, subscribe, and tell your friends about it. And shout out to C. That's all I got.
See. Hey, peace. Topeka, come through. Top City. Oh, yeah. We got DJ Top City. Now, I know y'all heard me say Top City before, but we
Hmm.
got DJ Top City. His name is Vanden. He used to DJ at my brother's nightclub back in the day. And he is credited as the person who came up with the term Top City. So he'll be there on the mix, setting the mood. DJ Top City will be in the building. All right, y'all. Peace.